Question 9. What is the solution x and y to the system of equations above? Now, systems of equations, really they're meant to be solved graphically. So, if you had a graphing calculator, you could, but since this is the no calculator section, I will show you how to plot and get an answer, but also show you how to calculate the answer in two different ways, and you can decide which one works best for you. So in order to plot it, I would recommend that you bring a graph paper to the test, which I'm pretty sure you are allowed to do. And I have it set up here in Paint. So in order to plot it, we have to rearrange these equations in terms of y, and you will see that they become linear equations. So to get the y on one side, we're going to do 3x plus 4y equals negative 23. So we're going to subtract 3x from both sides and then divide everything by 4. And so you have one line which is y equals negative 23/4 minus 3/4 x, and this one 2y minus x equals negative 19. So add x to both sides and divide by 2, which gives you negative 19 halves and 1/2 x. So y equals negative 19 halves plus 1/2 x. Now, so looking at these two equations, hopefully you'll recognize that the number is the intersect. 23/4, which is, or negative 23/4, which is negative 5 3/4, marked here, and negative 19 halves, which is negative 19 1/2, marked here. And over here, you have the slope. So you have one slope, which is rise over run, so down 3 and over 4, and up 1 over 2. So let's draw this first line here. We're starting at 23/4, and we're going down 3 over 4, which is here, and another line starting from negative 19 halves, which is negative 9.5, and we're going up 1 over 2, and we're going to extend that out, and look where our answer is. X equals 1, 2, 3, and y is negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which gives us answer B. And if you don't want to plot it out, I will also show you how to calculate it. So I'm going to show you two different ways to calculate it. One, which is the long way. I don't recommend it on the SAT, but the math is pretty much more straightforward, and it might be easier for you. So we want to isolate at least one variable. We have two variables and two equations, so we should be able to solve for it. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and set both of these equations in terms of x. So in the first one, 3x plus 4y equals negative 23. Going to subtract 4y from both sides and divide by 3. So x equals negative 23 over 3 minus 4/3 y. And the other equation, 2y minus x equals negative 19. Going to subtract 2y from both sides and multiply everything by negative 1, so that becomes plus all the way across. And x equals 19 plus 2y. So now we have two equations, both in terms of x and y, but we have them so that we can pretty much set these two equal to each other. So negative 23/3 minus 4/3 y equals 19 plus 2y. And we want to get all the y's on the same side and all the numbers on the other. So if we add 4/3 y, that cancels, and subtract 19, so now we can rearrange the formula to look like 2y plus 4/3 y equals negative 19 minus 23 over 3. And remembering order of operations, we can basically isolate the y here by grouping it this way. 2 plus 4/3 y equals negative 19 minus 23 over 3. And in order to do the arithmetic with the fractions, we have a denominator of 3 over here, so I'm going to multiply the 2 by 3 over 3, right, which is 1, so I can do that without changing the value. And now I have 6/3 plus 4/3 y. And on this side, I'm going to, because the denominator here is also 3, going to multiply 19 by 3 over 3, and I'm going to get negative, let's see, 57 over 3 minus 23 over 3. So this becomes 10/3 y equals minus 80 over 3. And to get the y alone, I'm going to multiply both sides, or sorry, divide both sides by 10/3. So 1 over 10/3, which is also 3/10. So these two cancel, these two cancel. So 3/10. These cancel, and we have y equals 80 over 10, or y equals 8. Sorry, this is negative, so negative 80 over 10, y equals negative 8. And at this point we can stop because we're doing the SATs and time is pretty critical. Only one of these answer choices has a negative 8 in the y coordinate, so the answer is B, which is the same as we got from plotting it. But this took a lot of time, so let me try to show you a shortcut, and if it makes sense for you, then great. So getting a fresh start here. Looking at these available answers, you see that two of the options have the same value for the y coordinate. So I'm going to try to solve for x. And one way I can solve for x is try to eliminate the y variable. And how would I eliminate the y variable? Well, let's write out the equations again. 3x plus 4y equals negative 23 over here, and 2y minus x equals negative 19. So I want to get the y alone this time. So here we have 4y equals negative 23 minus 3x on both sides, and 2y equals, I'm going to add x, negative 19 plus x. Now you can see here, in order to eliminate the y, I can try to set this entire equation, instead of equal to y and dividing, I can multiply this side by 2. Right? 2 times 2 gives me 4y. And if I do that, I multiply this entire expression by 2. And now I get negative 38 plus 2x. And so now I can set these two equations equal to each other. Negative 23 minus 3x equals negative 38 plus 2x. So if I get all the x's on this side, minus 2x minus 2x and plus 23 on this side, now we have negative 5x equals negative 38 plus 23, which is minus 15. Divide both sides by negative 5. X equals 3. And now only one of these answers has 3 in the x coordinate. So again, for the third time, the answer is B.